U.S. authorities arrest two New York residents for allegedly operating a Chinese secret police station in Manhattan. The two were charged for helping establish a secret police station on behalf of the Chinese government. According to a district attorney, the two had destroyed evidence of communication, which proves the suspects knew they had something to hide. About 36 officers with China's National Police Force were also charged with using social media to harass dissidents inside the U.S.
This task force operates as an internet troll farm, creating thousands of fake online personas, which they use in a coordinated plot to harass, disparage, and threaten dissidents and activists throughout the world. People who the PRC perceives as threats to the legitimacy of the Chinese Communist Party.
Dozens are killed as the clash between the Sudanese military and paramilitary rapid support forces for control of Sudan continues for a third day on Monday. According to the Sudan Doctors Syndicate, 97 have died 2 days into the fighting in the capital of Khartoum. The rival forces are believed to have tens and thousands of fighters each in the capital alone, equipped with armored vehicles and war plans that raged in the city and adjoining areas. Egypt and South Sudan have offered to mediate between the two parties, with the Egyptian president calling on both sides to, quote, choose the voice of reason and peaceful dialogue. However, a UN envoy from Sudan says neither sides have showed any intention of letting up.
The two sides who are fighting are not giving us the impression that they want a mediation for peace between them right away. Rather, they are calling on the other side the other side to give up or to surrender, or the other side to be disbanded. So that doesn't sound very much like a preparedness to give in to or allow mediation efforts to succeed on short notice.
Back in the U.S., a black teenager from Missouri was shot and wounded by a white homeowner after the boy mistakenly went to the wrong house to pick up his siblings. On Monday, 16-year-old Ralph Yarl has been recovering in the hospital with gunshot wounds to the head and arm after he knocked on the door of the wrong house on Thursday. The homeowner, who was not identified, was taken into custody, placed on a 24-hour investigative hold, then released pending an interview with Yarl and collection of forensic evidence. On Sunday, hundreds of protesters called for justice as they marched to the house where Yarl was shot, chanting Black Lives Matter. The state of Missouri has a stand your ground law which allows homeowners to use physical force to defend themselves against suspected intruders. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now World. I'm Diego Castro. Over 40 countries, including the U.S., call out Russia over the detainment of a Wall Street Journal reporter. In a statement read by U.S. Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield at the United Nations, they urge Moscow to end the, quote, draconian crackdown on freedom of expression, including against members of the media. This comes after the arrest of Evan Gershkovich, a journalist who was hired by the Wall Street Journal. It is the first time since 1986 that an American reporter has been held for alleged espionage in Russia.
We urge Russian Federation authorities to release those they hold on political grounds and to end the draconian crackdown on freedom of expression, including against members of the media.
Russia's ambassador to the UN, Vasily Nebencha, declined to comment, saying that concerned agencies and courts should decide on the matter.
This is not my piece of cake, as you know, but this is what the Russian agencies who deal with the issue to decide on. And only the court, as you know, can decide whether he's guilty or not.
Earnings of women in the United States have increased threefold from 50 years ago. More details in this Bloomberg video.
Almost half of all American women in opposite-sex relationships now make the same or more than their husband. That's a record high. According to a new report by the Pew Research Center, a third of U.S. women are in egalitarian marriages, making roughly the same as their husbands, and another 15% of them are the breadwinners. Women with college degrees and no children, as well as Black women, are even more likely to make more or the same as their partners. But not everything is a bed of roses. Working wives still carry most of the weight of unpaid labor. Women in egalitarian marriages spend almost twice as much time taking care of the home or a loved one, while dedicating less time to leisure.
Women are continuing to go out in the formal labor market and contribute and are still bearing all of the load of responsibility that disproportionately falls on them in terms of family care.
During the pandemic, in the wake of school shutdowns, the height of the childcare crisis pushed nearly half of American women out of the labor force, a trend that's yet to be reversed.
Women are just really struggling to meet the care needs of their family, and at the same time are really, really leaning into the labor market. And I don't think we've seen this before in history, to be honest.
Broadway composer Andrew Lloyd Webber dedicated the final Broadway performance of The Phantom of the Opera to his late son, Nick. Webber's eldest son, Nicholas, died following a battle with gastric cancer on March 25. The Phantom of the Opera officially closed on Sunday after a record-breaking 35-year run on Broadway. A teary-eyed cast alongside original cast members, including Sarah Brightman, took their final bows in front of a packed house. In February, producers announced the show would close due to a sharp drop in ticket sales even after New York theaters reopened following the pandemic lockdown. Andrew Lloyd Webber's The Phantom of the Opera is based on the classic novel by Gaston Leroux and was originally directed by Harold Prince.
You won't mind if I dedicate this performance to my son. A little boy, he heard some of this music.
Yes, he did. When Andrew was writing it, he was right there. So his soul is with us. So Nick, we love you very much.
All I can say tonight is, thank you to absolutely everybody who made this extraordinary run possible. And the last few months, I don't think any of us thought that The Phantom would go out quite with the bang it has. And so maybe it may come back, you never know. But what I would like to say, though, is that if it was going to go out with a bang, it couldn't have gone out with a better performance. I thought it was one of the greatest performances.
And those are the top world headlines of the hour. Join us again at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. Coming right up is Agenda at 8 a.m. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News, all sides, all the time.